It's no surprise that Jujutsu Kaisen has become one of the most popular new anime in the world, with many of the classic shonen archetypes and many new elements that make this a very interesting, fun, and unique storyline. There's a ton to love with this anime, including the crazy and beautifully animated fight scenes by Mappa. But the anime does tend to jump around a little bit for something that's barely on its second season, so if you're interested in knowing how the story plays out chronologically, we're going to talk about that today. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. You're watching the channel Dr. Applesauce. My name's Will. It's another beautiful day here in Texas. I hope you guys know that I love you, God loves you, that there is an awesome plan for your life. But today I want to talk about how the chronological story order of Jujutsu Kaisen plays out. We have several seasons that are ongoing right now and a movie, and things can be a little confused. I know when I turned on season 2, I was like, what in the heck is going on? Am I watching the wrong thing? Jujutsu Kaisen takes place in a world where curses formed from negative energy seek to torment humanity. It's up to what are called Jujutsu sorcerers in this world that are trained to manipulate cursed energy into powerful attacks to keep these evil curses at bay. The main story of Jujutsu Kaisen follows Yuji Itadori, who's a high school student who accidentally finds himself caught between a Jujutsu sorcerer and a curse when a club he's in at school accidentally unseals a very spooky rotten finger. So in order to save himself and his friends, Yuji swallows this rotten finger and unlocks a hidden power that he didn't know it was there. Imagine, yeah, I'm gonna save all my friends by swallowing a rotten, desiccated finger. It turns out that the finger belonged to one of the world's most powerful curses, Ryomen Sukuna, and Yuji is sentenced to death for awakening Sukuna's power. So he did get a lot more powerful by absorbing and eating this finger, but the Jujutsu sorcerers that are in charge are threatened by this, and they think that the easiest thing that they can do is to just kill him. But the sorcerer and teacher Satoru Gojo offers a compromise to the Jujutsu sorcerer leaders, and he wants to let Yuji find and consume all of Sukuna's remaining fingers, of which there are 20 because the dude had 4 hands. How powerful of a curse are you? Got 4 hands. That's pretty crazy. Once Yuji finds and consumes all of Sukuna's remaining fingers, then he will be executed in order to kill the curse and permanently and forever kill off Ryomen Sukuna. So that's kind of the compromise that Gojo comes up and gets the leaders of the Jujutsu Society to agree with so that he can train Yuji, but as we see going forward, he does have some ulterior motives. So one of the things that I love to collect are autographs. I have a huge autograph collection, and I've been incredibly lucky to get to interview a bunch of my favorite voice actors from when I was growing up. And I love to collect these autographs on Funko Pops. I think Funko Pops are the best medium for autographs. Speaking of autographs, shout out to today's video sponsor, 7bucksapop.com. Check them out every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern because they have a Signature Series drop. This Saturday, they're dropping a Signature Series drop with Ashley Eckstein and Tamura Morrison, who are very well known for voicing and acting in the Star Wars franchises. So you can head over to 7bucksapop.com every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern, maybe snag yourself one of these autographs this week, add some autographs to your collection. You can definitely trust 7bucksapop.com. They are a fantastic business. Thank you so much for sponsoring today's video. Let's get back to Jujutsu Kaisen. Clearly, there is an underlying motive here, as we find out later that Gojo typically does not agree with the status quo of the Jujutsu sorcerer leaders to the extent that he has intentionally recruited a bunch of younger, more powerful sorcerers so that he can raise them up to essentially overthrow these opinions and the way that the Jujutsu leaders are running things that he doesn't agree with. So that's kind of the groundwork for Jujutsu Kaisen, and the series actually follows Yuji and his fellow students and other sorcerers as they hone their abilities and Yuji's symbiotic weird relationship with Sukuna, and as it becomes more powerful and more complex and more complicated and more dangerous. So as of right now, for the existing Jujutsu Kaisen content, we have a full season 1 anime, we have a movie that's called Jujutsu Kaisen 0, and we have a second season that is ongoing currently. So season 2 can actually be split into 2 parts. So you have the hidden inventory and the premature death, those first few episodes, and those are really interesting because that's kind of like jumping into a backstory between Gojo and Geto and kind of gives some really interesting context to some stuff that happens in the future. And then the next part, which is called the Shibuya incident. So that's how the second season kind of breaks into 2 parts. As of now, there are no OVAs or spin-offs besides the movie, but that consists of a lot of the same characters we came to know in season 1. The Jujutsu Kaisen movie is very interesting in that it provides a lot more depth and insight into the relationships between Gojo and Geto, who is the main villain of the series so far, and this relationship that's introduced in this movie will be explored further in season 2 and be very relevant in season 2. Also, something that's really interesting to note is the Jujutsu Kaisen movie isn't necessarily a prequel. It's actually based off of a manga that was written just before the actual Jujutsu Kaisen manga. Tokyo Metropolitan Curse Technical School was a story that followed a completely different protagonist than the one that we know and love, Yuji Itadori, and his name was Yuta Okotsu. Due to Jujutsu Kaisen's success as an anime, the original miniseries was actually adapted and kind of remastered and turned into the movie Jujutsu Kaisen 0. The great thing about the Jujutsu Kaisen movie is that anyone can watch it without fear of spoilers and still enjoy the movie, but it also adds a lot of depth and insight into many of the main characters besides obviously Yuji, who's not in the movie. However, watching season 1 before the movie can actually provide a lot more context, as a lot of the characters can lend to an overall deeper viewing experience with the movie if you've watched season 1 first. On the flip side, some people claim that watching the movie first actually provides a lot more information about the Jujutsu Kaisen anime, and specifically makes the villains seem deeper and more interesting, as the villains aren't really explained too much in season 1, and you're kind of left wondering a little bit about their motivations and kind of their history and about kind of their story. Now, to make things even more interesting and complicated, season 2 kicks off with a few episodes that are very clearly a backstory that happened several years before season 1 and the movie. The first few episodes of season 2 follows the Jujutsu high school teacher and mentor Gojo while he was a student at Jujutsu High School, and the main villain Geto. These are actually a really interesting few episodes, and at first I kind of thought they were filler, but they definitely are not filler at all. For the first time, we see that Gojo and Geto were actually really close friends and partners at Jujutsu High School, and the veil is lifted on the events that led Geto to turn into one of the most evil, curse-wielding sorcerers in the world. The hidden inventory episodes are here to provide more context into the very complicated and honestly the tragic relationship between Gojo and Geto, which is supposed to play a vital role in the Shibuya incident episodes that take place in season 2. So with that little bit of groundwork laid and a little bit of history on Jujutsu Kaisen and just a little bit of what's going on in the show, honestly, the way you watch it is really up to you. If you're a brand new viewer and you want to experience it how it was actually released, then just watch it in the normal release that you'll find on any website, Crunchyroll, wherever it's released. But if you're somebody like me that really wants to re-watch an anime when a new season came out, like when season 2 was getting ready to come out, I went through and rewatched all of season 1. If you're like that and you've already seen everything, then watching it chronologically actually might be very, very interesting to you and provide some deeper context and deeper insight as we move into another season. The true chronological sequence of events takes place starting with the hidden inventory and premature death episodes of season 2, so the first few episodes of season 2, then Jujutsu Kaisen 0 the movie, then the full of season 1, followed by the Shibuya incident episodes that are the second part of season 2. That's the chronological order of events, starting from when Gojo and Geto were in high school up to current time when Itadori and everybody else is in high school and Gojo is a teacher. Now, while this is the true sequence of events of the series, it could be confusing to new viewers of the show, but if you're a fan like me, like I said, and you like to rewatch things as the new seasons come out, this could be a perfect way to get some more depth into the anime. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below about Jujutsu Kaisen. Would you watch it chronologically or would you watch it in release order? If you're a huge fan like I am, when you get ready to see a new season, do you go back and rewatch the previous season so you're all fresh and caught up? I think watching it in a chronological order like this could be very cool when you're preparing yourself for season 2 or season 3 later on in the future. But if you're a fan, let me know down in the comments below and let me know how you would watch Jujutsu Kaisen. And if you enjoyed this video, do me a huge favor, my friends, give this video a thumbs up. That's really free for you to do, and it helps the video so much. And like I always say, my friends, find somebody to love and serve today. Be the change you want to see in the world. See you next time.